And we are back on the PHLY Eagles show. I've got Eagles defensive back and Exciting Mike's co-host, equally important titles here. With me, Cooper DeJean. Welcome to the show. First and foremost, I got to ask you, what is like your routine like after a game in Tampa, a hot game? What is it? What have the last like 24, 48 hours been like for you trying to reacclimate or recover from playing in that heat?
Yeah, trying to cool off first and foremost from the heat down there, but we were in on Monday, got a little workout in. I think it's good for the body to, get a little lift in after a game. Try to work out some of the soreness, and just do as much recovery as you can. These first 2 days while we're not practicing, for next week. So just trying to let the body heal and recover. And also starting to prep for the Broncos.
How would you describe the experience at Raymond James, like especially with the weather as extreme as it was? Did it surprise you at all?
It surprised me how cool it was actually in the first half. Last year was just steaming hot the whole game. It was, don't get me wrong, it was still hot, but wasn't as hot as last year. And there's a lot of Eagles fans there, which I think helped keep the energy up. You can tell the first half, everybody was juiced and we had a lot of energy. And that second half, I think the energy died just a little bit. But we, most importantly, we found a way to win.
Did you hear the Coop chants? Did you catch that?
I did hear them. That was pretty
yeah, there were
pretty
definitely
sweet.
a lot of Eagles fans to be hearing the Coop
chant.
Yeah,
it was
on the road.
A lot of green in the stands.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about the team's tackling in this game. Last season, obviously the Bucs, had a lot of underneath completions, really challenged the secondary to tackle, and it just stands out the way that you, Jihaad, Campbell, Zach Bond, how much space you guys cover and how well you tackle. I guess how much does Vic harp on that, and how important was that against this Bucs team who was trying to maybe extend those drives?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's huge. Especially when you got a back. Those two backs like they have. Those guys aren't easy to tackle at all. There was a few missed tackles. But that's going to happen when you got good running backs like that. But it's been stressed. Ever really since I got here. We started doing. I think last year, after the first couple of weeks, we started doing a tackle circuit every single week, kind of just to work on our angles and work on, our tackling. And I think that's helped us a lot, not only last year, but this year as well, going into this year, because you got to be able to tackle in open space in the NFL, especially against good athletes. That this league has. So it's stressed every single day while watching the film, putting ourselves in good position, even if we aren't tackling or thudding up, putting ourselves in good position to make the tackle without actually making the tackle during practice. So when it comes to the game, we're ready to make those plays.
How disappointed were you that the step over, which probably would have been like an iconic picture in Philadelphia sports lore, how disappointed were you that it got the 15-yard penalty there?
Yeah, I was a little disappointed. Obviously, but it's just about controlling your emotions in the heat of battle. It's tough. When you're in the heat of it, the thick of it, and you got so much adrenaline running through your body. That happens. But I think penalties is something that's hurt us as a defense, and that we need to continue to clean up. It was a cool picture, though, but it's not gonna be too good for the pockets, I don't think.
Oh no, you think you're gonna get fined for it?
I thought you get fined anytime you get a.
You would know better than me. I didn't know you got fined for every personal foul or taunting penalty, but
I thought you got maybe you don't. I don't know. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
We'll find out.
You'll have to let us know the next time we talk.
Yeah.
So Quinyon Mitchell, speaking of maybe some fine-worthy behavior there, I wanted to ask you if you have any good trash talking stories from Quinyon. Obviously, he had a great game against the Bucs, but his willingness to not back down against Tristan Wirfs, I really think will be one of the lasting visuals of the game. Does
Yeah.
he talk more trash than people realize? And do you have any good stories about him talking trash on the field?
He definitely talks more trash than people realize, and I love it. He's like a silent assassin. Because I mean, you wouldn't think like talking to him. I mean, if you didn't know him, you wouldn't think that he's the type of guy to go out there and talk trash. But he kind of gets in that mode when he's out on the football field, just so locked in and dialed in, so much confidence on the field. He just lets it fly and lets guys know. Um, but yeah, with T Worfs, he's a big dude, but cute him back down.
Did you hear what he said?
I did not.
Okay,
I actually didn't even see it happen. I was on the sideline, I think, already. So I didn't see it happen, but that's just him. He goes out there and plays with confidence every single week, which is fun to see, and it gives myself and everybody in our room confidence as well.
Both of you guys, it seems like, have taken on more in the secondary this year, but in particular, Quinyon flipping from side to side, following receivers. How difficult is that for somebody who isn't familiar with like what goes into calls and just again the fluidity of like not knowing what side of the field you're going to be on until the huddle is broken? What goes into that for him?
Yeah, I think people don't realize how hard that is, to go back and forth and play each side of the field. Because obviously last year I think he was primarily on the left side.
Yeah.
He had Slay on the right, but even just like your movements from one side, to the other, from him playing one side all year and doing like turning into guys the same way, and then this year flipping from side to side, what that takes, and obviously having to understand the calls from each side and from each formation as well, is also pretty difficult. But he's made it. I mean, he's made it look easy. I know he works hard at it during practice. Just his techniques from side to side. It's been fun to watch. He just continues to get better and grow as a player and as a leader, which has been fun to watch.
Does it impact you much? Especially, I mean, even at safety, you guys have had some moving parts, but with not really knowing what corner is going to be on your side, how much does that impact your job?
It's a little different. Because obviously I played with Q for however many games now, so we kind of have our own communication. On our side. If guys are in stacks or bunches, how we're going to play things out if motion comes or something happens. So we kind of understand each other, and we have a plan. But obviously, Keeley making his first start this season.
Yeah.
Just being able to communicate, with him, just because we haven't been out there as much together. So that definitely changes a little bit. Having to have more communication, but it's also good, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, and we know how we're working things out based on what the offense is doing.
Does that language between you and Quinyon stretch to off the field? Do you guys have like code words or anything like that in the locker room?
No, we don't. We don't. But we do have some language on the field that is fun. It makes it fun.
Yeah.
But we kind of just come up with random things to communicate. So
speaking
it's
of
sweet.
Like your guys' bond, like it's crazy to think that you were rookies last season, and also crazy to really reflect on like how you both hit the ground running, in your rookie seasons and really made an impact early. And then you look at Jihaad Campbell and Andrew Mukuba this season, and like how much of an impact they've been able to make early in their careers. Obviously Jihaad Campbell had a huge game against the Bucs. What about their experience do you think has, or maybe your collective experiences as rookies, do you think contributes to like all of you guys being able to work into the defense and make an impact this early in your careers?
Yeah, I think it's just the confidence that everybody in the facility like gives them. Because I feel like a lot of times when you're a rookie, you don't really know what's going on. You're kind of quiet, and you're just trying to find your way. But I feel like in our locker room, guys bring those guys in and allow them to be themselves. And I think that's what we've seen, early, even before the season. Just those guys, their confidence that they have walking around on the field, in themselves, has been really cool to see. And I've tried to, I've tried to, give them confidence and allow them to be themselves as well. Give them tips, from my experience, and I know Q's helped a lot as well. But it's been fun to see those guys just take on their roles, embrace it, and learn throughout, even while making mistakes, learning from their mistakes, and just going out there and being ball players like they are.
Gotcha. And last one, I know we're early in the week. You probably haven't gotten too much into the scouting of the Broncos yet, but what do you know about Bo Nix? What stands out about him as a quarterback?
Yeah, he's a playmaker. Makes plays with his legs and his arm. Got a real strong arm. Can make a lot of throws down the field. So we're gonna have to try and keep him in the pocket. Pressure him as much as we can. Stop the run game, obviously. And they got some good receivers on the outside. That'll be a challenge for us. But I think we're excited for it. They're a good team. And they're coming into the link. We're back at home, so should be a fun one.
Awesome. Well, appreciate your time, Coop. Maybe I'll start doing some of the heat acclimation stuff that you've been doing. Hit the gym, drink some water, make sure I drink some, maybe an electrolyte drink or something like that.
Hydration's key.
What's
Absolutely.
that?
Hydration's key.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thanks, Coop.